Landscape. In the past it was not so easy to do there any farming, you know. Here when I can see the flatlands, it's just easy peasy, you know, you can just like this. But for us in the mountains it was complicated. That's why, actually that's why we were not doing so much like cash crops like corn or wheat or stuff like that. But it was more about pastures and fruit trees. Now you can see here, this is an orchard, here there's another one, blah blah blah. And what's important, this is a Porta Celi monastery, which is from 13th century, and it's an important part of our project. Well, honestly, when I was younger, I didn't think that I will live in my region one day. I was thinking about going somewhere else. But then I did it, and I find out that my region is quite cool, and I came back, you know. Yeah, so this is it, you know, lovely landscape, you know. This is like hills. This is like a you know, from Little Prince from Saint-Exupéry, the elephant in a snake. So this is it. He took a inspiration there. And what is here? You can see this. This is an orchard.
Nice.
It's an orchard which is not in such a good condition because for many years, or in the past, it was property of church, of the monastery Porta Celi, but communists, they nationalized it, as well as nationalized, for example, the property of my family, and of we didn't have private farmers during communism, and everything was state property, but to the church it was not given back after revolution. It took a long time, it took like 30 years. When state finally decided what to do with it. And within the time when it was not sure to does it belong, nobody was taking care. Because before there were sheep and there was like farming activity, but because of that, this is still quite good, but in some parts it was not so good. Like this is a plum orchard in 2018 when I came there, when we started the project. It was not even possible to go through it.
Wow.
So, yeah, we decided, I contacted the nuns, because in the monastery there are still living nuns. I contacted the nuns that I would like to rent the orchard, because I came from France and I was looking for a place where I can get some apples. And they say no. It could finish like this. They say no because it's already rented. It's already rented like this to one guy who is a shepherd, and who is looking for the place to put his sheep. And I said, okay, it's a pity. But then I think, well, but maybe we can cooperate, you know? Because I can get the apples, and sheep can get the grass, and everybody's happy. I was naive, you know, because sheep, they are grazing also the apples, but at that time, it didn't stop me. So we made a deal, and meanwhile I discovered that in a monastery, because originally I think that I will cooperate with volunteers, or workers, and etc., and then I will put volunteers in this building, which is like old granary, like a place to store the grains, like wheat and so on. And it's a little bit punk, there is no heating, no water, no electricity. But I said, okay, for some reason, okay. But I discovered that in a monastery, in the 1990s, there were German volunteers coming, and they created there like lovely rooms, no dormitory rooms, kitchen, everything, heating is prepared just for me. I said, okay. So I seen, well, because I was also thinking about making kind of this volunteers or educational center as this Cifraházban, and I said, wow, it can really work well. So we have started in 2019. We have started with this. Unfortunately, I'm not a good photographer, and I was not taking enough pictures, because you know, to see the situation before and after, it's always lovely, you know. This, Papa. Or here, you know. You can see the difference, right? So our goal was to clean the orchards and to support a little bit the local variety tradition, because this region has a plentiness of old varieties. I mean, it's like museum. It's because of the terrain, because of the fact that it was close to Brno, close to Vienna, close to Prague. And so we were exporting the fruit on all these sides. But in the second half century of 20th century, it was not any more profitable because they moved the intensive production into the lowlands, you know, with chemicals, with tractors, with mechanization, and those so-called extensive orchards, they were little by little abandoned. And our goal was to support this tradition, again, like revive. So we have started the volunteer events. There were some troubles what to do with so many branches. We discovered biochar, which I will introduce to you tomorrow. And yeah, here you can see the situation. In 2003, I mean, here is this granary. In 2003, it was quite okay. You know, you can see the original pattern of the trees. Here, this is a plum orchard. Here, this is apple orchard, and here there are some sour cherries, but really few. And this is the situation in 2012. Now you can see that in the left part, it's starting to be like a forest is starting to grow. You know? It's like natural because it's kind of succession law that if there is some bare land, it starts to grow. And that was the situation in 2018. You know, the same situation here. Here you can see you cannot see anymore the trees. Here, it's fascinating. The plants, they were more like resilient. There are two possible explanations for this. It's a slope actually. So it's going like down here, you know. So there's the highest part and there's the lowest part. Here's the lake. And one possible explanation is that water is going down the hill. So the bush has more water, more humidity in the lower part. So that's why there was more bush. Second explanation is so-called blue imperative, which means that even that people didn't know to whom does it belong, the orchard. They were collecting the plums for plum brandy Slivovica, you know. We don't know. It's possible. And this is like situation in 2020. You know, so we have here it was nothing to save, so we have destroyed completely, cut off the wood completely. Here, this plum orchard is still quite fine. There is a sheep, and here it was a combination. There were some trees; it was not possible to save them, or they were old or dead, or etc. So our aim was to plant here new trees. It was again like idea, because actually for the orchard it's better to cut it completely, or for the trees, and to plant new ones. Because when you are having apple trees, for 100 years, of course, the land is tired a little bit, because they are consuming the same nutrition and etc. But for us, it was more important as a part of a landscape design, because next to the monastery it's nice to have nice extensive orchard. And also it's because of the law, because if you have orchard in Czech Republic, you have to rewrite it in a register of the fields to move it to the pasture or to move it to the field, and it's complicated. So even law demands you to continue there with orcharding. And this is just one part, this is just half of the orchards. It's like, there's another one as big as this one, and on which we are working now. So that was the original idea, and it was nice because locals, they still remember the times when it was like lovely orchard with the sheep and etc. So they said like, oh yeah, we were so long going here around, and we said to ourselves, there should be somebody to start to do something with it. And finally, you came. You know, I said, okay, this is good, because it's always important when you have support of the locals. Yeah, and this is some pictures from the workshop, the workcamp. Blah 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 blah. This is biochar that to taste. Tomorrow will be more. Yeah, we have started to plant the trees, because as a part of the, you know, as a part of the propagation or part of the promotion of the old varieties, this is not in an orchard, it's in a monastery, in a nun's garden. Yeah, and we also invited volunteers from all around the world, so those are Belgian scouts, because I was working in Slovakia before, in Šelmedlan, in Banská Štiavnica, and like Belgian scouts, when they are in the age between 16 and 19 years, they should go abroad and they should volunteer there. So I can offer them a place. Now why not? I'm so generous that they can come, and
they can work.
They can work here. No, but it's really like this, and they appreciate it. And they said like it's way better than we were last year. You know, in one it was in Romania, in one place that there's some Belgian retired like Belgian citizen, and he was just exploiting us. I said, okay. It's not like me. It's not like me. Yeah, and we are also like bringing their volunteers from all around the world. And here you can see that within the volunteers there are the nuns. It's really rarely to see them because they are Cistercians, so they don't want to be somehow involved in they are contemplating, meditating, praying, working, and they are not like stand-up comedians. They are not like showing up too much. So this is one of the really rare photos which I have with them. But it's nice because they appreciate that there's something happening. Okay, it's not so easy because they are super conservative and it's not always so easy peasy job, but you know, challenges makes us stronger. Yeah. Yeah, and this picture is from Youth Exchange, Erasmus Plus Youth Exchange in 2020, which we did together with Vidéken Jó. Unfortunately, Vidéken Jó was not allowed to come because Viktor Orbán closed the borders because of the COVID. So we had to replace Hungary with Slovakia. Sorry, but because of history, like we can find Slovaks like this. You know, I mean, Brno is the. No. I'm just trying to explain you context, no? Because Brno is the largest Slovak city north of Vienna, so it's easy to find Slovak students who can come even when the borders are closed. So it was, I mean, that was my last youth exchange when I was like organizer because it was hell, but we've enjoyed a lot. And this youth exchange was about mapping the old traditional fruit trees, which means that we went in the field. In a small groups, we had pieces of paper where we are recording we came to some tree, we said, wow, it looks nice. Can you recognize the variety? Of course not, there are so many. But we have a pomologist, we have one expert for this. So we made a sample with a reaper, like this, you know, we made a sample. We took the coordinates, we took the pictures, and later on in the base camp we made a determination. And like this, we have discovered like 120 varieties just in the region of Tischnau, which is like diameter of 20 kilometers around my town. You know, like it's really nice. Maybe it's too much. I mean, we don't need so many varieties. But what is interesting on them that they can have different like tastes, different conditions. They can be stored for a long time because nowadays the modern varieties, you know, this golden delicious which is there on the table. I mean, this is also old variety. But they are perfect for industrial agriculture, so they are harvested in the moment when they are not matured yet. They are put into some special atmosphere and then they are distributed all around the world, you know. Like these old varieties, they came from the time when people, they didn't have herbicides, then they didn't have special atmosphere, they didn't have, I don't know, a lot of things. And sometimes they are not visually perfect, but sometimes they are having really good traits, like good taste and etc. They can be like good for many things. Yeah. So and our goal was okay. We are like restoring here orchard, but well, we are just one organization. But if we want really save the old varieties, it's important to spread it all around, as you know, to find many local partners. And local partners, they are gardeners. So. We are doing this at the end of September. We are doing a festival of the fruit, which is associated to this mapping. So we are first mapping during the weekend, and then during one bank holiday, we are presenting it to the public. That people can taste, because you can read in the book that this apple has a little bit round taste, but you don't know what does it mean. You don't know if you like it or not until you will taste it, you know, because I mean, 100 people, 100 preparations. And this is important, so we are doing this. And we are trying to...
They look really nice.
Yeah. But really nice, but sometimes it's really complicated because some varieties, old varieties, they were like breeded to look ugly, to not be stolen in the field. Which is like, honestly, it's not... It is so cool, but it's shitty in the moment when we are buying just visually perfect fruit, you know. Yes. And I forget to mention because I studied environmental studies, and my master thesis was about this topic of restoration of old varieties in my home region. And it was a long time ago, and it was before cider wave came to Czech Republic. And I said in my defense of a master thesis that one of the possibilities how to save is not about, like, not try to put it into markets, because we cannot defeat it visually, but try to put it into products. Like cooking, you know, making the beverages like apple juice or cider or vinegar, or if it's necessary even hard alcohol, why not? Yeah, and here you can see these are pomologist experts, you know, they are coming people. They can even bring their own fruit for determination. because this is important, because I mean now there is a lot of money from the European Union to support planting, municipal planting, you know. It means that municipality will buy a lot of trees, they will plant them, and that's all. Because the trees, they need cultivation, they need some pruning, they need to be loved, you know. They need a little bit of care, and this is something that is happening. So I believe more in the local and decentralized conservation via uses like this. Yeah, here we are making some presentation, you know, about our volunteer project. We are making apple juice. We are like presenting to the people and to support the local production. It's also good, like a source of fundraising. And here I brought.
I know that the glass should be empty.
What? Yeah, I'm sorry, it's not beer as you expected, but it's apple juice from our.
Yay!
Yeah. Okay. And this is good. I mean, when you are doing volunteering, it's nice that you are doing it for free, but sometimes you need some money. And like this, we can apply for projects or etc. Yeah, a little bit of cacao, but okay. Yeah, I'm not like, you have to think out of the box, don't worry. Okay, so try to find another one. But I told you, you're not listening to me. And like originally my dream was that we will start a like commercial apple juice production, which we manage just partly, which means that we are selling it, but it's not legal.
They don't need to know. Can I ask you something?
Yes.
How are you harvesting the trees?
Yeah, it's this is another point that with the large trees, in the past you had to climb them, but either you have reapers, you don't know. Okay.
So you harvest them by hand,
I mean, for apple juice, you can harvest them on ground.
Yeah.
Of course, if you would like to store them and if you would like to sell them in a production, you have to climb the tree and you have to reap them. But for us, it's not our goal. We are concentrated rather in apple juice making.
Okay.
So for this is the point that you can plant large trees which are beautiful. They are having a lot of these, but okay, it's about varieties also. But we are harvesting them when they are on the ground.
Okay.
Which sometimes the sheep are faster than us.
Okay, but
on the other hand, without sheep, we will not be able to do this project because there are like hardly working volunteers, you know, 24/7, no complaining, keep grazing. I'm sorry.
Do you use some kind of a machine to shake the tree, or you're just waiting them to fall? Or, okay.
Like actually, it is not so much like commercial production. It's still partly volunteer project. I mean, last year
better one.
There was a super large yield. There were many apples, but we didn't harvest them all because we were simply unable to do it. It's a little bit complicated also because now the volunteer center, there are no more volunteers because since the beginning of the war, we offered it as a shelter for the refugees from Ukraine. So we can have volunteers just during summer. And and this is also like I'm working on many projects, so it's complicated. But I'm trying to attract more people to be part of the core team. I mean, hardcore team. And but this is nice. I mean, because there are many things which are tolerated. Of course, like I have many enemies who like. Because first of all, it's in a monastery, so a lot of people think that church is so rich that they should not exploit the volunteers. The second thing is that we are doing something for free, what somebody else is doing like commercially. So I have a few enemies, and because in the past I said that I'm a professional volunteer, and then somebody said that it means that I'm taking money from it, but it's complicated, like how you can coordinate volunteers without having any money for living. And so you have to be. I mean, it's like a skiing on not so.
It's a rocky field.
Rocky field, yeah, it's rocky field, and I'm a Rocky. Rocky
You're managing.
But
We need to be uncomfortable to be noticed.
but for example, the apple juice for us during lockdown, it was sorry, it was it was a source of money for us because we were not allowed to do anything else. So we were just selling the apple juice on black market, and it like helped us to survive. So like originally it was my idea to do it commercially, but so far we are still in this like volunteer phase, and now we are really looking, because now I'm more in the biochar business, so now I'm looking more for somebody else. But on the other hand, sometimes it's easier to keep it in this like communal or community level, that you are having your machines, your tools, you are doing it within a group of people without trying to hit the market. I mean, to start a big commercial project, and it's like becoming popular because you know the project is quite spectacular, the place is nice. So of course there are coming journalists and they are making like advertisement for us.
Is that you?
That's me, yeah.
Oh, with the big beard.
That's me with the it's microphone actually. It's a local radio which make us like great publicity because it's really listened by the locals. And there were like twice there was a TV, once there was a TV. And it's also about when you are doing a project in a monastery, you can attach to the church, because now with Pope Francis and etc. It's getting way greener, and this could be one part of it, you know, that we can explain to the local like conservative Catholics that they should conserve the nature because Pope said so and because it's easy. and in the same moment my goal is, because I'm like halfway tree, I'm a Catholic, but like my mom, she's moderated Catholic, my father, he was militant anti-Catholic. So it's like I have both in myself, you know, that I have opened the gate of heaven, but in the same moment I'm critical to what's happening in the church. So I'm trying to bring people together like this. Yeah, and this is like when we are making mapping, we have online map, and we are also putting the labels in the field that you can read what kind of variety is it, because this is important for us as well, because this can last there for 20, 30 more years, but probably they chop off the wood, the tree earlier than can last. Yeah, and of course we are also replanting. Everybody wants to plant a tree, so we have a company which is like donating us money for running our project, and they can in the autumn they can plant a tree, because everybody wants to plant a tree. It's our like fetish of our culture, you know, trees. It's it's not bad, but it's not only part, because it's also necessary. I mean, planting the tree is just 10%, because then you have to take care, you have to come there regularly, you have to prune it, you have to in the first years. We can discuss this about, because in permaculture there are some people who said don't prune the trees, don't grab the trees. I'm not such a radical, and we can discuss this later. And yeah, and there's a lot of job with maintenance. So for example, it's good to keep it somehow, but it's good because there keep coming volunteers. So like this, because if I would have to do it on my own, I'm not able. But with the volunteers, you know, when there are many, it's quickly done, and there are quite many. And we have also started to organize the courses of pruning, which is interesting for people who are not anymore in volunteer age, because they are having gardens and etc. But they have money, so they can pay for these courses. You know, it's again like, and they are happy that they can learn new skills. But it's important to put in balance like volunteering and the commercial part, because we don't want to rely completely on projects and dotation, etc. And on the other hand, we are not business enough to make it just business. So we are trying to do it something like this. So this is when we are explaining what to do, how to prune the tree. And we are also, this year, those pictures are from Mana. This year we did a grafting course. Because when we are making apple juice, we put like what the rest from the apples on the compost. It started to grow like many apple trees, so we planted them in our own nursery school. And now we were grafting there our own trees, so we don't have to buy them anymore. We will be planting in the orchard our own trees, which are bearing the varieties which we have discovered in the hills, which are, for example, unknown even for pomologists. So like this, we are conserving the really interesting varieties from the region. Yeah, this is it. Up. And that's all. I mean.
Any questions, comments?
how you pasteurize the apple juice?
It's easy. Actually, we do quite a lot of stuff quite punk way. I mean, I'm from wine producing region, so you can buy a lot of things for making apple juice and etc. on occasion, like not so cheap, like second hand, and not so cheap, not so expensive, pardon. And we made pasteurization in these bags, which can be used also for wine. I mean, it's plastic. I'm not super happy, but on the other hand, we don't have line for making it into glass bottles. And you know, when you are in the hotel, they are having this kind of like inox steel big kettles for boiling the water. And you can, you know, you will come with a cup and you will put just a little bit of ammonia. And you can set their temperature. It doesn't have to be 100 degrees, but you can set there like 80 degrees, which is pasteurization of the apple juice. And you will just attach to this and it's working. I mean, we could not sell it like this because it's, or maybe we could, I don't know, but I don't have time to ask, you know, because there are so many things to do. And it has never got spoiled in it can last for 2, 3, 4 years in these bags.
Yeah. Like
So-
I know, like with the cheese, like when you pasteurize it, there is only like for the hygiene.
Oh, yeah.
Like the place, if it is fine, and then you can sell it.
Yeah, like this is, I didn't bring pictures of our apple house or cider house. That in the past, first year we did really totally punk, that it was just one part of monastery. We brought water by pipeline from outside, electricity from outside, we bring drain outside, and it was like quite punk. But the next year we made a deal with the monastery that we bring their electricity, water, we like painted it. So technically we could, like, we should make like heads up stuff, and then we could call control from hygiene to tell us that it's okay or not, or what we should do. But for this you need, somebody will take it as a job, really as a job, and I don't have time for this. And so far it's working as well, yeah. Of course, like, it's a little bit problematic because somebody can, actually we are not selling it on our events, we are offering it, and if you want to contribute to our project, you can give us some money. Which is like that check way, we call it check way, that you do not follow the law, but you do not violate it neither.
Same in
But
life.
if somebody wants, we can have troubles. But yeah, it's like this. But like technically, there's no problem. Like there's no fungi inside. You can see if there is some problem. You can see. But we got rotten just one bag like this, and in 2020 we made like 5,000 liters of juice, you know.
Oh, wow.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Any other questions? I have two questions.
Uh-huh.
The first one, is the orchard open for the public? So if I'm passing by, I can just pop in and look around and check it?
It was my goal in the beginning, because I wanted to make it accessible for the public, etc., for the people who are walking the dog. But it's complicated with the sheep. So it was like, there was just temporal fence for the sheep, because actually without sheep we are not able to do it. Because when we chop it, it would grow again.
Yeah.
And we have to chop it again, it will grow again, and again. But the sheep, they are grazing it, and they are preventing it from getting overgrown. And first year, there was another shepherd, and it was like my nightmare, because since August, the sheep, they start to escape. So we have improved a lot, like welfare of the sheep. But we have scared a lot of people in the village that there is some traffic jam because of the sheep in the street. And it was really like a nightmare, that because it was not my sheep, but town mayor, she was calling me like, hey, Mr. Blaha, your sheep are there. Oh, they're not mine. Oh no, but this is your project. I said, okay. No, so I didn't have so much benefit, but I have all the, it was like sheep without benefit. And so we decided, finally, when we caught them, it was complicated. That when you will come, I will show you when in 2 person in a gorge of Thermopyl, we like put the sheep in a so hurt, and doesn't matter. And we've decided to put their fence like metal fence. So unfortunately, since then it's not accessible for the public. But it's a little bit like before, because before there was a jungle and it was neither idea how it will be, and during the project you have to find some compromises. So I'm not super happy. On the other hand, I'm not going to die to just like destroy myself to help people to have fun in the orchard. And unfortunately, some people they're thinking about putting there some like ladders so they can get inside, but some people they are just idiots, and unfortunately dogs can kill the sheep.
Oh yeah.
So, and it's happening now with one wild dog in another orchard. So those are limits, you know, that not everybody is as responsible as you. And the second question?
The other question was that how do you see the future of the project?
See the future of the project? I don't know. There will be climate change and we will all die.
Ending of the presentation. All this work and ideas for nothing.
No. Like my goal is to, because when we will restart the orchard, we can go out, because our goal was to bring there like regular farming. Because it was in some special conditions, there was special conditions due to history, because if there would not be all the troubles, it could be probably all the times too nice. So now we are coming there to fix something, and like sometimes some people said like, look, you are volunteer there for monastery, you know. We told you, don't do something voluntarily, because then they will kick you out and they will give it to somebody else. I said like, I'm so happy that I don't have to take care of all the stuff there, you know, because but the gossip is that you are doing something good and you will be punished for that. So our goal is to bring there more people and to let them this, because my original goal was to be rather like a teacher in a field study center in the monastery, and I knew that I cannot operate everything.
Okay.
So I hope it's good that monastery is conservative, because one of my motivation to do this project was also to defend the place from becoming the terrain for building new houses, because we are close to big city and there is a like high demand for it. Luckily, the conservative monastery is a good practice, because they will not sell it to buy a new swimming pool. They will not sell it to go for holidays for Maldives. They will not sell it to give the money to their kids, because they don't have any kids. The monastery, they should pass it to next generation, which is like, I don't know how it will be, if it will be real like this, but it was already 3 times abolished and 3 times it was restored, so that's the goal. So I hope that there will be orchard which will be possible to use for education and for extensive farming, and also like a part of this kind of habitat which is disappearing from our landscape, like extensive orchard. But if it will be like this, you know, I don't know.
We will see.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
We can drink during
So, guys, the plan is now, I think we are all cold a little bit. So, Nico said that he wants his presentation outside. So that's